Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian. Welcome back to Victoria 3 as we're playing as Russia. So one person brought up in the comments of the last episode that I haven't shown off the new subject interactions, and honestly I just completely forgot about these. Some of them would have been quite useful over here when we were trying to get them annexed, because they can reduce your liberty desire with those particular subjects. So you got a lot of different options here based on what type of subject it is. So with like the Baltic Governorate here, we could raise their subject payments. That would result in us earning a lot more money from them, but it would increase their liberty desire and damage the relations. You can also reduce these subject payments. That would have the opposite effects. We don't really need to reduce liberty desire of any of these subjects here. But again, these would have been helpful when we were trying to get that one journal entry done. We got a lot of different options here that we can do, like granting them their own market. That's what the Greeks were asking us to do. We have less options with Finland, for instance, because they're a personal union. You'll notice that the liberty desire for the Greeks is incredibly high. You know, they asked us to grant them their own markets because they're actually isolated from the Russian market. And so that's given a +1. I'd prefer not to grant them their own market, because I'm wondering if once the war's over, if that problem would be fixed. So we'll wait to do that until we finish this conflict, whenever that might be. Hopefully soon. We'll have to see what happens here. But yeah, I hadn't shown off those new actions, and there are other ways to look at those, by the way. So like, for example, we just went into Finland here. You can see that there is the overlord actions here, and all those choices are available. But not all of those were in the game before. Some of them are new, while some of them have been around for a while. So there's another civil war happening down here, and interestingly, Austria-Hungary is once again siding with the aristocratic revolt, or likely to side with them. They want to get something from the sway, it seems. Yeah, they are super conservative, and they're trying to spread that around the world and helping out aristocratic revolts. You know, they did that here with that Ottoman Civil War as well. So it appears that our fleet has won in the Mediterranean, and we also got 2 events. The Anti-British League demands action, so they want us to embargo Great Britain. That would not be wise. But we also don't want to decrease their appeasement either. Yeah, I don't think we should embargo Great Britain. So yeah, this particular interest group is causing us lots of issues. And then also got an event, Empty Pockets. A series of perceived poor decisions by the movement to enact homesteading has led to a notable decrease in its ability to raise money. Numerous wealthy sympathizers have quietly halted their support for the movement in its current form. Alright, so we actually want to get rid of this. So we'll want to do this option to reduce their movement support. It's been around for a while. We also have this enact cultural exclusion movement. We could have declared our neutrality in this. Let me go and do that real quick. You know, it's about to be over. But yeah, this is another law that we probably don't want to enact, because it would piss off several interest groups. Well, really only appeasing the intelligentsia, which isn't that powerful at the moment. So a lot of people have asked about different laws that we could be enacting, and there's really not too many options at the moment. We really need to change our economic system. Traditionalism is pretty terrible, so pretty much anything would be better than that. So like, maybe go with this option, but you can see that we don't have the choice of doing it at the moment, because nobody supports it who's in our government. So I mean, with our current government setup, where we have the gentry assembly in power, there's really not much we can do. Now, Nikolai Romanov here is 56 years old, and when his son and heir, Alexander, takes over, you can see that he's a market liberal. And so that'll change the situation up. And so I'm kind of thinking that we might just wait until we get a new czar. Now, somebody asked if we could resign, you know, abdicate the throne. That is not an option. You have to have one of these requirements. So we could piss off the gentry assembly if we want to get rid of him. If he was less popular, that would work. Or if he had the psychological affliction. Or if he was just too old. We kind of have to mess our country up some if we want to get rid of him. I didn't realize that our heir Alexander's not married yet. So I took that decision to seek a spouse. You don't get any options here. But I'm absolutely fine with increasing relations with the Greeks, doing a royal wedding with them. So he'll be marrying the charming daughter of King Otto of Greece. We have two choices here. We can either increase influence for 5 years, or if we do a grand public wedding, then we'll increase Alexander's popularity for 19 years. So he should be pretty popular when he becomes the ruler. I think that's probably the better option. More influence is always helpful, but I mean, we're not even really using the influence we have. Now I noticed that Alexander wasn't really all that popular to begin with. Oh, they're in default. We might need to help Greece out, because they're more likely to capitulate. But he has a psychological affliction, and so therefore he's not very popular as it is. He gets the +10 for being scarred, but the psychological affliction is a -50. And so that helps that he gets that, so he's more popular than he would be. So we really need to help the Greeks out here financially. They still don't have a very high chance of capitulating. It's just a real bummer that we don't have control of this peace deal. Unfortunately, because we don't have central banking, we can't do the take on debt or the start bankrolling options. Okay, we might have to grant them access to their own market. You see that the Liberty Desire continues to climb up. It's getting pretty high. Might end up having this war be for nothing if we just end up losing control of them. We can take a look and see how long it would take us to get central banking. We're not working on it at the moment. It is level 2. The field works is 13 months left, so you would want to finish that. And it's 29 months to get this. So we'll just have to add it to the queue, and clearly we're not going to get that in time, guys. So we're going to have to, well, I was going to say we need to grant them their own markets, but because of their high economic dependence on us, that would actually increase their Liberty Desire. Okay, so why do they want their own market then? So we really need this war to end, guys. Like, it's imperative, but man, I do not want... We might just have to accept it, guys. I have another peace proposals offered. It just kind of sucks that it's a crappy white peace when we clearly won this war. I mean, we got what we wanted out of it. Greece is our subject. I think the Greeks are just asking for too much here, so the Ottomans are not willing to capitulate, despite the fact that they have almost been completely conquered. I almost feel like they shouldn't have a choice in this matter, because we have conquered so much of their territory, we have control of their capital, and so we should be able to just force this, but this is the way the war system works in the game, as silly as it is. And because we don't have control, we can't really, fix the situation, because I think if we just offered these two and got rid of that demand, I think the Ottomans would agree to it. But as it is, it's never gonna end, guys. So let's just go ahead and accept the peace deal. It just sucks. We'll have to fight them again, and this time be under control ourselves. But it's very unfortunate, because we could have got the white peace a long time ago, and we wouldn't have had so many dead. Now, obviously this has been worse for the Ottomans. But what matters is that we got what we wanted out of the conflict. The Greeks are now our subject. You can see that their Liberty Desire is now going down because they're no longer separated. And this should help them out economically too. So I think we'll probably start another conflict here very soon. I am trying to solve the ammunition issue. We've got some munition plants being constructed to show you guys what it looks like at the moment. Working on these and the gold mines. Got more of those in the queue as well. Just wanted to get the initial shortages solved first. And what we could do, because there's not really a high demand for it, so it's probably not going to earn much money. So what we could do is change up more of our units so that we're actually using the ammunition and getting the better bonus there. Because I think we're going to do the demand on Japan as soon as their civil war is over. Because I don't really want that to get messed up because they're currently in the civil war. So we'll wait. Apparently we don't have the explosive factory either, so we're going to need to get that constructed. And we might want to put it in the same location where I built the ammunition plants. So I believe it's right here. So I got 2 of those for now. We probably should add that up to the top. Not both of them. So this is what we'll do. We'll put one of them right here, and then the other one will be constructed after we finish that munition plant. We'll allow the gold mines to finish up, and then we're going to add some construction sectors in here. Our economy's doing great, and so we could definitely be constructing a bit faster. So I suppose next we should do with these countries we have claims on. So again, with them, we're going to try and get them to join our bloc diplomatically. So we should probably start with maybe defensive pact, guaranteeing the independence. We're trying to get the leverage generation, so we're probably gonna have to do both of those. I would only accept if we gave them an obligation. So I think this is good for now. Let's see where our leverage gets to. And then I suppose we want to attack this smallest one first over this state, and maybe they'll just grant it to us if we only asked for the one state. We'll see. Let's go into the diplomacy here. We're going to close this, and then for the demands, we want the one targeting the states. That's going to be this one here. So we're going to demand that they return that. They wouldn't accept it, so it's going to potentially be a war. We'll see, because they really need support. They have no chance of winning this conflict, so maybe they'll give in, just give us one state rather than lose the war and have to give us all their states. What we do is just demand that they return these two, and then they would only have this one here as a protectorate. That's if we have to fight the war. We will not make these into primary demands because I want them to just give it up without a conflict, and we can do it over a series of wars. I mean, honestly, I don't really care which route they go, because if we gotta fight the war, it's gonna be super easy, and then we get control over all of this, and if we don't, then we can just focus on these guys next. So either way, it works for me. So this event allows us to use our obligation to recruit this general here. We'll see if he's any good. He's 38, so he's young. He's a surveyor, so he's not terrible. He's also bigoted. That does result in a reduction of the morale cap, but increases offense. I suppose he's fine, but we'll probably just keep the obligation in this case. So this is the agitator who is supporting homesteading, has been supporting the law for a while, or the political movement for it, and we can now exile him without any penalties. So we're going to want to do that. And the last one is that problematic leasing that we've already seen. I suppose we'll go with this option to increase relations with Prussia. I think that's what we went with before. Maybe we went with the other one. I'm not entirely sure. Just take a look at where we're at on their relations. Currently 55. They're still not willing to form a defensive pact unless we gave them an obligation. Alright, so they haven't started mobilizing yet. We did just get a new mandate. Alright, fantastic. So we cannot get the fourth principle because we had to have 10 members or more, and also our power block has to be at least rank 3 or better, which are rank 4. So unfortunately, can't get the fourth principle. I almost want to replace the defensive cooperation simply because almost everybody in our pact is usually going to be our subject, and if they aren't, we'll quickly make them our subject using the ability we have. So therefore, it's not as useful, and there's some better options for us to get, particularly considering the fact we won't be able to get this anytime soon. But for now, let's go ahead and get the next militarized industry. That's going to reduce the supply route cost by 33%. So we'll do that mandate for now. Next one will lock here in 3 years. So they haven't backed down just yet. We also haven't started mobilizing yet. Maybe when we get to like the halfway point, we'll begin mobilizing, and that might be enough to get them to give in. Again, I don't really care if they don't, because it would be easier to just conquer them. They have, barely any troops, and I'm not seeing anybody supporting them in this conflict either. So it would be easier to just conquer them, and it's not like we have to raise very many troops. We'll probably just mobilize the army of Siberia, and that would likely be enough. So you can see they are now mobilizing. And so it seems that we are going to fight this out. It makes sense, I suppose, considering the fact that that's a big chunk of their country. So they're making their way there now. Also going to get assistance from our subject states, and so should be able to very easily wrap this conflict up. And we do want to make sure that he is set to attack. He is. So we will be fighting this out and thus taking over all of their territory. And I don't expect it'll take too long either, given that it's not a very big country. We got this failed incursion event again. So let's go with that option. Now, one thing I did notice is that there is now a new power block. The United States has started a power block of their own. So if we take a look at all the blocks, you'll see that one's now number 6, so above the Ottoman one. And this is their current members. So our advantage on this front is 99%. We've already advanced and taken over all this territory here. Again, it should be a very easy conflict overall. So just taking a look at the battles. Like, you can't even see them, it's happening so quick. Trying to just see what our defense versus offense is there. But yeah, the battles are happening quite quickly. Alright, so just looking at it here, their defense is 8 while our offense is 39. So again, this war is not going to take too long. Hopefully it shouldn't cost us too much either. Let's just take a look at the current casualties, and just like that, they have capitulated. Alright, excellent. So we have a new protectorate over here, and we conquered this territory. Do have some turmoil there, so we might want to make use of the violent suppression here to deal with that turmoil. That's how the Tsar deals with everything. So just taking a look at what we gained in these states as far as our buildings go. So they actually do have a few things here. The logging camps, quite a bit of agriculture, including opium plantations. So we'll have access to opium. Most of the major powers don't have ready access to it. And then we also got this state, which has a bit less, but does have some silk plantations. Also has the sulfur mines, which we'll be needing those as we build up these explosive factories here. So after we get the explosive factory done, we have 4 of these getting constructed. That's one that just finished up there. It might get a few more. Definitely trying to spend this money that we have, because we got a lot in the gold reserves at the moment. So work on these, step up our construction. It's about time. So we really start investing in our economy. Because yeah, we have a lot of needs, particularly for our military. With the ammunition explosives, they don't have a high need, but remember, we haven't made adjustments to our units yet. So we could be improving them a lot. So let's go ahead and begin to upgrade our infantry. We'll start with the Imperial Guard. So I'll get them upgraded. Because one of the problems is that we didn't really have the need for the ammunition jet. So once we upgrade those, then we'll see that they'll have a need for that. It'll also require more lead, but I already got that constructed, so we'll get that taken care of. Obviously there'll be some issues with our economy while we slowly adjust to all these new goods that we'll need. We did just unlock Fieldworks, getting the 10% army defense. Also, that unlocks the barbed wire fences for the livestock ranches. I don't know if we're going to want to do that. It reduces the number of laborers necessary in those buildings, but would also require more iron, which I want to say our iron is still, I mean, it's not as high as it once was, but it's still pretty high. And so I don't think we're going to want to change that. Opium is now affecting our economy. There's a higher hop consumption than there was since it is now available, and so that's kind of expensive. So our opium farmers are going to get quite wealthy. Our private industry is currently working on vineyards. I'm trying to get some more wine. Doesn't seem like the wine is what we really need though, is it? Just kind of take a look here. I mean, yeah, look at this. Wine is super cheap. That really doesn't make any sense. So it seems that the AI, the hop building logic, still is not great. And you know, that was one thing that a lot of people were worried about when they changed up the construction. Especially once they forced everybody to make use of the new system with the private industry, is that the AI would just be bad at it because they were bad at it. And it seems like they still make a lot of mistakes. Like, it doesn't make any sense for them to have gotten at the vineyards. We've been having trouble with the wine cost for a while now. Now, one thing I'm not considering is that maybe it's a local cost thing. Maybe the wine somewhere in our territory is really expensive and that's why they're doing it. Probably not though. Looks like there's another diplomatic play in Arabia. This one is a peasant revolt. We'll just go and declare our neutrality. Now, the Caucasian War journal entry is still up here. Remember, we cannot solve that until after the truce ends here in 1856 January. So it is very soon. And that's for both of these two countries. Yeah, less than 2 years, and we'll be able to deal with that. So we've just been burning off this infamy. We're probably going to deal with these guys next. And we can take a look at the situation in Japan, see if that civil war has ended. It is not. That is still ongoing. That means they're going to be quite weak at the end of this. Or you'd think, since this war has been going on for a while. they'll have a lot of casualties and probably be rogue. So more likely to give in to our demands. I suppose infamy is low enough to go ahead and make these demands now. Let's go into the diplomacy, and then we're going to demand them to return the main state here. That's going to be our primary demand. They won't accept it because that is most of their country, guys. And so completely expecting this to break out into war. So let's go and add our war goals. We're going to want them to return this state as well. And instead of turning them into a protectorate like I did this country, which I didn't actually mean to do, I accidentally clicked on that. We're going to go ahead and conquer all their territory. And it does cost a lot of infamy. So we'll want to see if anybody decides to get involved. Doesn't look like there's a lot of people who could. Yeah, there's no major powers here, or great powers outside of China. So we'll have to see if they decide to get involved. You'd expect that they wouldn't. If they wouldn't care. So we'll have to raise our troops up. Because you know this is going to be a full conflict. They're not going to give in to a complete annexation of their country. But they barely have any troops. So we don't need to mobilize much. Let me just take a look. I think they might have more than the other country did. Yeah, they have 37. So we don't have to mobilize much. But we might have to mobilize more than we did. So it looks like there's another civil war here in the Ottoman Empire. Another aristocratic revolt. So the Ottomans are just like falling apart. We are going to declare neutrality. Alright, so let's go and get our troops mobilized. We'll raise up the army of Siberia again, though we do have to recruit a general because their general died not that long ago. So we have somebody from the Gentry Assembly. He's meticulous and an offensive planner, so he's pretty good. And it seems they're both named Igor. So this one here, he's cruel and scarred, in addition to being an offensive planner. This is nice for the kill rates. I think it would be better to go with meticulous, plus he's a year younger. This character is younger than both of them, but his traits aren't quite as good. So I think we're going to go with him, even though he doesn't have the pillage option. We'll recruit him, and then let's go ahead and get that army mobilized. You know, we'll see if that's enough to get this job done here, because again, we might get some assistance from our allies, our subjects I should say. And also our troops are likely just going to be better than theirs. So I'm hoping the 28 units will be enough. If not, we'll mobilize somebody else. We want to try and keep our costs down in these conflicts, not spending more than we have to. Yeah, we see we are going to get some assistance from Moldavia here. Alright, so the war has broken out. You can see we have an advantage of 54 here on this front. So should be able to easily conquer them. Not quite as easily as we did the other country, but shouldn't take too long, guys. Probably still cost us a couple 100,000 though, just from the troops that we have raised up. And a few thousand dead. I almost feel like we should just conquer these guys as well. Because I was looking at them and our leverage is not as high as we need it to be. And there's not anything else we could do without giving them an obligation. We did just get that crystal glass unlocked. We're not even using the leaded glass. There's not a high demand for glass in our country at the moment. And so yeah, we don't need to go to the crystal glass. We haven't gotten to this yet. You can see we almost conquered their entire country here. Just a few little hatches left out here in the mountains on this little area here. So again, not going to be too long of a conflict. Just taking a look at our dead. Again, it's 3,000 dead and 179,000 costs. Now that's not only our costs, that's all of our subjects as well. So we spent about 79,000. As far as the dead go, a lot of that is ours. It's from attrition. But yeah, they have far more dead than we do. And their cost of war is quite high considering their small size. Doesn't really matter because they'll be completely annexed at the end of this conflict. Alright, so they have capitulated, and thus now we have control over all the states. That's what I meant to do in this war. I didn't actually want to create them into a subject. I accidentally clicked on it, and it seems there's no way to remove a demand once you make it. Or at least I'm not sure how you remove it. Alright, so we need to burn off some infamy. Try not to let it get too high before we go to war with the Empire of Japan here. So they're no longer the shogunate. But take a look at these events. So we've seen this one before. So this is just one of the many oddities with Victoria 3. Like, we exiled this guy. Why would we want to bring him back? This is the second time we've seen this before. Like, we exile somebody and then we get an event about bringing him back. And it's like, no, we don't want to do that. And instead we just lose approval with somebody. It's just kind of weird that you get another event about it, bringing him back. I mean, it's been a little bit of time. And the Orthodox Church could not seem to decide which political lobby they want to be a part of. They keep joining one, then leaving them, and then joining another one, then rejoining them. We're going to go with this option, reduce their political strength, since they're not a part of our government, so that should help our government out a little bit. Yeah, this campaign is not much focused on the laws, guys, and the government stuff. We've done that in past ones. And this one I'm really just kind of focusing on expanding our sphere of influence. You know, the name of the DLC we're playing here. Could have been expanding a bit faster early on. I was focused on just getting our economy started up. In fact, we could actually invest a bit more. In fact, we'll go ahead and do that now. Get several more construction sectors set up. Just continue investing our gold reserves into our economy. Try and build it up a little bit faster. Seems that civil war is still ongoing here with the Ottoman Empire. We'll eventually want to attack them and actually make some claims of our own. Seems that our truce ends in October 1857. Well, at the very end of October, so practically November. So now we're just kind of burning off infamy here. And making sure we keep that influence high so we can get the infamy decay as fast as possible. And once it gets a little bit lower, because I just don't want any major powers to get involved. I don't even know if they could get involved. I guess we'd have to take a look at that. But basically, next episode, we're going to be doing this war with the Japanese. Before they get more powerful. I want to do this while they're still kind of weak. Before they build up a fleet. Let me just take a look at their current situation. Yeah, they have no fleet. Not too many battalions. They're overall quite weak. And so now would be the time to do it. Because remember, we do have a claim on this state here. So we're making a demand to return a state, and thus it doesn't cost as much infamy. Other countries we're going to want to go to war with after Japan. Well, there's China, of course. I'd like to get control of Manchuria. And then as we establish the Ottoman Empire, 1857, the end of 1857, so really 58, we'll be able to declare war on them. And they're a prime target for us. And then, of course, we're going to continue expanding here in Central Asia as well. We're slowly building up our leverage there. But there's not really much else we can do without giving them an obligation. So I'm probably just going to have to get aggressive and attack them. Which, we now have that good relations with them. So that would cause some issues for us. So we'll have to see what we can do, guys. Again, priority will be Japan. So I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you guys on the next one. And thanks for watching.